네, 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 저희가 행사를 시작하기에 앞서서 댓글 이벤트 안내를 먼저 소개를 드리도록 하겠습니다. 이름표 하단에 있는 여러분들 네임택에 보시면 두 개의 QR코드가 있습니다. 그것을 핸드폰으로 스캔하시면 라이브 방송을 들으실 수가 있는데요. 그쪽에 댓글을 작성하시면 저희가 추후에 추첨을 통해서 스타벅스 기프티콘을 지급해 드리도록 하겠습니다. 지금 화면에 보이시는 내용을 다시 한번 숙지하셔서 모두 이벤트에 참여해 주시기 바랍니다. 네, 한 가지만 더 말씀드리겠습니다. 저희가 사전 등록을 하신 분들에 한해서 번호가 네임택에 부여되어 있습니다. 7260으로 시작하는 번호만 참여 가능하고 추첨 진행 시 뒷자리 4개 번호를 확인하시면 됩니다. 행사가 끝나고 나서 저희가 번호를 추첨하면 저희가 소정의 상품을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 곧이어 행사 시작할 때니까 모두 자리에 앉아주시기 바랍니다. 곧 9번째 블록체인 심포지엄 토큰이코노미를 시작하겠습니다. 장 밖에 계시는 분들은 자리로 착석해 주시기 바랍니다. 핸드폰은 진동이나 아니면 꺼주시기 바라고요. 무음으로 설정해 주시기 바라고, 방송 수신기는 한국어 1번, 영어 2번으로 설정되어 있습니다. 한국어 1번, 영어 2번으로 해서 통역기를 사용하시면 될 것 같습니다. 곧 9번째 블록체인 심포지엄을 시작할 테니까 밖에 계시는 분들은 모두 자리에 들어와서 앉아주시기 바랍니다. 네, 안녕하십니까? 어머, 반응이 하나도 없으세요. 안녕하세요. 네, 안녕하세요. 예, 감사합니다. 예, 저희 이제 제9회, 벌써 9회입니다. 9번째 블록체인 심포지엄 토큰이코노미를 시작하겠습니다. 예, 이제 다 입장을 하셨으니까 이제 아까 수신기 말씀드렸죠? 예. 뭐 잘하시는 분들은 안 쓰셔도 되는데 한국어 1번, 영어 2번으로 해서 들으시면 되고요. 제9회 토큰 이코노미를 시작함에 앞서서 사실은 오늘 저기 ICO 크라우드 이스마일 말릭 대표가 12시에 도착을 했는데 지금 공항에 도착했는데 지금 이 시간에 다다르질 못했어요. 그래서 오늘 개회사를 해 주실 예정이었는데요. 저희 신코 이강태 대표님의 짤막한 인사말 듣고 먼저 시작하겠습니다. 이강태 대표님을 앞으로 모시겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. 신코 대표를 맡고 있는 이광태입니다. 오늘 이스마일 말릭 대표가 개회사를 하기로 예정돼 있는데 아직 도착을 못한 관계로 제가 간단하게 인사 말씀드리고 시작하겠습니다. 제가 이 일을 시작한 이후로 늘 생각하는 게 8년 전에 블록체인을 만들었던 엔지니어가 만약에 그가 특허를 주장했다면 어마어마한 부를 이뤘을 것 같은데 그는 왜 특허를 주장하지 않고 자기가 개발했던 그 소스를 오픈하고 사라졌을까? 지금도 늘 생각하는 화두 중에 하나입니다. 아마 반대로 그가 그 기술을 가지고 특허를 주장했다면 오늘날 전 세계가 연결되지 않았을 거라고 생각합니다. 전 세계 사람들이 연결되지 않았다면 오늘 이런 행사도 불가능했을 거라고 생각을 합니다. 그게 블록체인의 기술이고 블록체인이 만들어가는 지향점이라고 저는 늘 생각을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 신코도 커뮤니티라는 이 모임을 통해서 블록체인이 만들어왔던, 블록체인을 개발했던 그 엔지니어가 결정했던 그 기술을 공개함으로써 모든 사람들에게 평등한 기회와 또 신뢰와 또 공유 확산의 기회를 만들었듯이 신코도 이런 커뮤니티를 통해서 좋은 ICO를 참여할 수 있는 기회를 만들고 공유하고 확산하는데 지속적으로 노력을 할 계획입니다. 지난주에 저희가 베트남에서 토큰이코노미 행사를 했고 오늘 27분의 베트남 분들이 여기를 방문해 주셨습니다. 정말 감사드립니다. 박수 한번 보내주시죠. 베트남도 서울에 비해서 8개월 늦게 시작했지만 서울 못지않는 그런 커뮤니티를 만들어 갈 거라고 저는 확신하고 있습니다. 그리고 오늘 11분의 스피커들이 저희 토큰이코노미에 방문해 주셨습니다. 이 11개의 모든 프로젝트가 잘 될 수 있도록 저희는 늘 응원하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 이제 지금 연사분들이요 다 지금 부스에 계셔갖고 앞에 지금 안 오고 계시는데 저희가 이제 그 행사는 차질 없도록 연사분들 순차적으로 모실 계획이고요. 이따가 쉬는 시간에 이제 좀 둘러보시면 좋으실 것 같습니다. 이제 열심히 이제 개별적으로 만나보실 수 있는 시간들이 있어요. 예, 첫 번째 순서 모시겠습니다. 매일 수백만 명의 통찰력과 의견을 분석하다 이렇게 이제 한글로 돼서 조금 어색하긴 한데요. 예, 유플러스라는 프로젝트거든요. 샤우카트 샤밍 대표께서 나오셔서 발표를 해주시겠습니다. 예, 대표를 앞으로 모시겠습니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and giving us this opportunity. Today, we're going to introduce you for the first time, Jarvis, the world's first video opinion search engine. So, the world has changed dramatically in the last few years. Today, 74% of internet is video. Today, people are consuming 300 billion hours of video every year. And today, people are creating more videos in 1 month than what television has created in 30 years. In this video, people are explaining what they feel. They are explaining, they're telling you how they feel, how they think, why they buy and what they don't buy. But the problem with that is, video is very hard to decipher. For example, when Apple came up with their new iPhone, immediately months after, there were millions of people who talked about how they like their phone, how they don't like their screen, how they thought the price was expensive, so on and so forth, in millions of hours. Millions of people in millions of hours. But today, if the same company wants to understand how do their customers feel about their phone pricing, for example, they have to bring 20 people in a room and ask them. They have to do a focus group studies and rely on human to interpret what those people are saying. Although there are millions of people have said what they already are feeling about that phone. The problem on that one is video is a black box. You cannot consume billions of hours of video to understand what they have said inside. This has similarities with how Google did in early days of internet. In late 90s, people were coming up with pages. They were coming up with different websites all over the map. But then Google created a beautiful way of really taking those pages and breaking it down into keywords. So you could find those pages and understand what's inside them. And beautiful products were created on top of it. Just to give you one example, if we look at one brand to give you a sense of depth and look at Samsung, we'll see there are 5.5 million people who have just talked about their TVs, over 1 million hours. But you cannot understand what they're saying, because 1 million hours you cannot consume serially. So what we have done is very similar to what Google had done for textual web. We are doing that for video web. We use a technology that is driven by computer vision, text, and audio, and we take a video and we can break these videos down into different parts, where a person may be talking about different elements of a product that they are talking about in videos. Then we index it just like Google has indexed it, the web pages. So we index it in an opinion index for us to create products on top of it. Just like, again, Google had created beautiful products for you to give access to their search index in AdWords and AdSense. In our case, we see opinions are very valuable for businesses, for insights. So we create products on top of that, where we use a machine learning NLP engine on top of that index that we have just created to understand the reason why people has that opinion. The catch here is to understand why people has that opinion. That is very valuable. For example, if I told you there are 500,000 people thought the Apple iPhone is expensive, that is way less interesting than if I told you why they think it is very expensive. So we have created this platform. We call it Jarvis, and it is built on 3 different parts. The core part of it is our video indexing and video opinion indexing technology, where we are taking videos that are in public domain, and we are analyzing those videos and understanding people's opinion. On top of that, we do products that takes those opinions and creates insights. So this is a neural network that we've been working on, we've been training for the last year or so. So we could generate insights that usually was done using human before. And last but not least, we fundamentally believe that opinion profile is a very sensitive subject for everybody, businesses and consumers the same way. Till date, every profile that's been created by large companies, Facebooks and Googles and anybody, the platforms own that profile. But I think that is going to change going forward, where your opinion profile, how do you feel, what's your opinion about a topic, needs to own by you, not by a platform. On that notion, we created a concept of creating opinion profile, and we used, again, technology and machine to figure out what is the fair use of an opinion. What is the value, attribution value of an opinion? For example, today is a very historic day for here, right? As you know, the peace talks are happening. So a person, let's say, for example, Bill Clinton makes an opinion or a comment about this process will be a lot more valuable than if I make that opinion, right? Because he has a lot more credibility and this is his topic. Same way, every opinion, the attribution value of that opinion depends on who you are, what you're talking about, the taxonomy of the opinion, which is an IP, and altogether how you calculate it going forward. So our company we are a very different kind of company. We are been operating for about 2 years. We have been very fortunate to have some of the world's largest brands and agencies as our customers. We are a hyper-growth company based in Silicon Valley, UK, India, Singapore, and China. And we have created about 1 million of those profiles already. We are indexing about 50,000 videos per day. And then now we have created this Jarvis Foundation, which will own and operate the opinion profiles on our own blockchain. So the question that comes when we were doing this is, why do you need a blockchain to do this? So we thought about that quite a bit, and I will tell you our background on where we come from, where opinion profile is very different than a transactional profile. For example, if you're sending somebody a payment, that is very different than you sending somebody data, right? So since we are talking about creating an opinion profile that is 7 billion people's opinion, everybody's, we have to create something that is extremely fast, reliable, secure, and can scale up. On that, we have created our own blockchain that can take transactions TPS on a few single digits to 300,000 transactions per second, going to 1 million transactions seconds or tens of million. Here we are talking about how you're going to create a search engine, just like Google had created for textual web. We're talking about creating a search engine for video and opinions, so which can potentially touch literally not hundreds of thousands, but billions of people going forward. So it needs a system that is that scale, on internet scale as we used to call it. As I mentioned, we are very fortunate. We have some of the largest brand and household names as our customers, and we grow extremely exponentially. And this is just a snapshot of who we have our customers. So to give you a little bit of our background, who I am, or who we are, I've been very fortunate to be in Yahoo from when they were double-digit people. And I'm mostly known there for creating Yahoo Messenger, which at one point was the largest consumer product in the world. We had about 263 million people on it. Then I created a few companies. One of the company called Rhythm New Media, that was one of the largest mobile video ad network in the world. It still is. The company is publicly listed. Then we did a company called BuySite, where we did retargeting and performance targeting on display advertising, which got acquired by AOL. And if you know the company, AOL Performance Network, that's us. And my co-founder is a guy I'm really, really proud of him. He was much earlier than me in Yahoo. He built the first Yahoo's backend. And his work later became what is now known as Hadoop. Later, he became the CEO of Yahoo in India, where he grew the company from 0 to 3,000, where Amazon stole him to be the CEO again for Amazon in India, where he grew that business to be the largest e-commerce site in India. And then he became the CTO of Amazon's A9 that built their back-end fulfillment servers. We also been very fortunate to have some of the most prominent investors in search, consumer, and this business as our investors. We're also extremely proud to have some of the most iconic names be associated with us, including people who wrote Google search. Amit Singhal wrote Google search. He's the highest ranked technical person in Google, senior VP, but his name is mostly known for creating search that he took over from Sergey Brin. Vinod runs Google AdWords. Krishna, he created Google Research. Vibhu ran Google Core Search. Bobby Yazdani is a really interesting individual. He wrote the first check to Salesforce, and then in Google and Dropbox, many other companies like that. And that's what we do. Our vision in the world is the people's opinion in this world is already out there and hidden. They're talking about it in loud voices. They're telling everybody how they feel, what they think. If we could understand that properly, if we could really understand the hints they're leaving, we would make better products. We will create a better world together. And hence, the blockchain technology becomes extremely relevant because it deals with high-scale, significantly high transaction volumes, and so on and so forth. So we have a video that I want to play for you. This is how it works in our system.
Such thick cream to my dry hair. But this is really good because it absorbs into your hair really, really quickly, and then it smells really good too. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. This whole line smells really amazing.
And it just smells unbelievable. It doesn't have like a fruity or floral scent. It kind of just smells like really nice and clean.
After trying it for 2.5 months, I have to say that this shampoo and conditioner does not work for me. It leaves my hair dry. It does clean though. It does clean my scalp. It does clean my hair. But it leaves...
Thank you. Our company is, as I mentioned, it is, we started the company in Silicon Valley, where we grew the company significantly, and we started entering different markets. We picked UK and India to be the next ones, and we just announced our entry into Chinese market. And we see the, how the world's gonna look forward in future is we will understand each other better. We will understand how and why you feel certain ways. And we will open that capabilities to businesses, public policies, politics, every one of those. So idea is, if we just understood each other, if we just understood why, how, and how you feel, we will not only be better people, we will build a better, meaningful, impactful business going forward. And that's our mission going forward. If you have questions, we are here, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
네, 수고해주신 유플러스 샤우카트 샤밍님께 감사드립니다. 예, 그러니까 이제 비디오 같은 게 나오잖아요. 그러면 이제 감정, 표정, 음성 이런 거를 다 이제 AI가 분석을 해서 이 사람이 진짜 이걸 좋아하는지 아니면 싫어하는지 이런 거 이제 이런 걸 블록체인에 기록해가지고 하는 그런 재미있는 프로젝트거든요. 그래서 이 프로젝트에 대한 얘기들이 예, 조금 더 이제 궁금하신 거 있으면 나중에 이제 부스 가서 보시면 될 것 같습니다. 예, 두 번째 프로젝트 소개하겠습니다. 두 번째 프로젝트는요. 컨테이너 내 온도 조절로 물류 산업의 혁신을 이룬다 이런 이제 의미를 가지고 있고요. 프로젝트 이름은 스마트 컨테이너입니다. 스마트 컨테이너의 리차드 에트류님께서 다음 발표를 해주시겠습니다. 앞으로 모시겠습니다.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here for me. My name is Richard Ettel. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Smart Containers Group. We are a Swiss technology company in the logistics space. The interesting part about logistics is it is the engine of global trade. Nothing that you order on Amazon just appears in front of your door. It's actually shipped. If it's made in China or if it's made in Korea, it still needs to be shipped to your door. This is a $2,100 billion annual industry. Part of that industry is cold chain. Roughly $250 billion is spent annually to ship cold chain, that means meat, that can be pharmaceuticals, around the world. Specifically pharma, more than $12 billion are spent on pharma. And this is actually where my company made its first applications. But it's not that easy to do logistics. It requires up to 200 communications to move a container or a product around the world. So this is actually quite cumbersome to do that. Today, we live in a different era where we can simplify things. And we have a new technology, which is the blockchain, that enables us to significantly leap forward and make things a lot more efficient. But let's start at what is logistics in a bigger context. Since 1970, the cost of logistics has consecutively fallen every single year. So it means every single year, it got cheaper to ship something around. I just ordered some knives from China. They cost $33. To ship them to my home in Switzerland, it costs $6. Incredibly cheap. The flip side of that is the majority of logistics companies don't earn money. How do logistics companies respond to this challenge? They scale through centralization. They're buying each other, they're installing SAPs, and so forth, because they want to centralize and reap bigger economies of scale. Not necessarily always successful. So this is an industry that's ripe for disruption. How can we address this? But in general, it's not the insiders that disrupt an industry, but it's an outsider. And it's Tesla as an outsider that developed not only the electric car, but the first autonomously driving car. So it's not Mercedes that had a bigger and longer track record. It's Apple that revolutionized the music industry and not Sony. And it's Amazon that revolutionized the way products are shipped around the world by starting out with book distribution in 1998. And then there's us. So what do we do next to these big names today? We combine hardware and software in a new way. And this enables us to create significant innovation. So this is myself and Nico. Nico is my co-founder. He's the techie. I have to do the rest in the company. And we saw the potential in blockchain. Through smart contracts, we can actually make blockchain 10x and more efficient. So this is significant. Nico is a little bit more radical, and he said we have to make the autonomous container. That means we will reduce the amount of admin work that goes into shipping products around the world significantly, because the containers administrate themselves through smart contracts. So where are we today as a company? So we're 5.5 years old. We have close to 50 man-years invested in R&D. We have close to 100 patents today. We started out in pharma distribution. So we designed containers to transport highly valued, temperature-sensitive pharmaceutical products. And in our industry, performance is measured in temperature deviations. So out of 100 shipments, how many times does the container not perform according to specifications? The market average in that industry is 8.5%. So 8.5% of all shipments don't work. Over the past 3 years, we've achieved less than 0.1% deviation. So that's more than 75 times better than the market leader today. So that's a significant step forward. And major pharmaceutical companies are using this today. Why are we successful? Because we stuffed the containers full with Internet of Things sensors. So we've collected for more than 4 years about 1.3 billion data points about the supply chain, and we were able to work together with logistics companies to improve the logistics process. So it's a combination of hardware and software. We have 2 applications, 2 different brands. One is called SkyCell. This is the brand for pharma containers. And now new is Food Guardians, which is containers for the food industry. Because for about 4 years, roughly 4 years, we've been asked, can we use your containers to also transport high-value food products like salmon, tuna, meat? And we had to say no, because we focus on pharma. But now we can launch a second brand and do that. Where do we stand in the different companies? So SkyCell is today the 4th largest provider of containers in that sector. On average, we give 20% cost reduction to our clients. We are now recognized as the safest pharma container system on the planet. So this was our biggest breakthrough. And we have a high-level executive board of industry experts, an ex-CEO of an airline, board member of a major logistics company, Panalpina, venture capitalists from the biotech scene, and so forth. Now, food is our startup in the company, but we can leverage on what we've built on the pharma side. So we're designing containers that will secure food safety in these boxes of different sizes. Now, in a Western country like South Korea, this is not a problem, food safety. But if you go to Vietnam, this is already a big problem. We've identified many cases where distribution of food in a country is actually a huge opportunity, not just on the safety side, but also on the cost reduction side. So in food distribution, it's about cost efficiency also. And we can make it very affordable. So to give you an idea, to ship to your home could be done as little as less than $1. So less than $1 for protection of your products to your home. So this will significantly help in the breakthrough in this changing consumer that people want to have things shipped to their home instead of going to the supermarket. Where do we go tomorrow? How do you administrate, hopefully at some point, 10 million, 100 million boxes? This is where the blockchain comes in. Today, information is very centralized. In logistics, one person constantly has to check up on where is the product in the supply chain. In the future, we want to turn this the other way around. The information is attached to the container or the parcel. Doesn't matter what size. And thus, it reduces significantly the amount of effort for one person to check up on the container or on the parcel. So how do we do this? We virtually mirror the shipment on the blockchain. And we need 2 parts. One, we need a public blockchain part where you have certain parcel specifications, the weight, the temperature, maybe some material safety data sheets, so that people in the logistics chain can handle the product. But then you have many other documents that should stay private. And here, this could be smart contracts, executing the transfer of ownership. These could be the transport order. This could be the storage conditions of a special product. And this can be also customs documents. So we're experimenting with other blockchains. So we're not reinventing a blockchain, but we're using other protocols and building on that. So we're actually an application. And that's why all the big blockchain companies actually come to us and say, come on, try NEM, or try EOS, or try Ethereum in a combination with others. So what we're trying to create is actually the Logichain. It's a logistics ecosystem to move products in the supply chain. So it's an open source ecosystem where the majority of the functionality should be for free and open to all users. At the same time, add-on services like payments, insurance, etc., that you have to pay for in this logistics ecosystem. Last but not least, it creates a seamless and fully autonomous smart container solution, which is paperless and email-free. The end result is actually that we are solving logistics, which is a decentralized problem. We're giving it a decentralized solution. So instead of one information about a shipment always being transferred into one ERP system of a company, it's put onto the blockchain and it's available to all different stakeholders. So it reduces the amount of shippings, it lowers the cost, and it frees up manpower. What we're doing, we're a Swiss company, we're doing an ICO. We're actually emitting 2 tokens, so it's a little bit special. We're doing on the one side a profit share token on the growing container business, and the second one is this ecosystem. We recognize we can't put this under one roof, because if we put the ecosystem under the roof of the container business, we think that the competition will not use it. So that's why we decided, let's put it in a separate entity so we can remain neutral. Switzerland is a very neutral country, so that actually made sense to us. This is the management team, so it's myself and Nico as the co-founders, and we had to have a multitude of people. We're close to 45 people now, building up the company over the past 5 years. Now, if you do an ICO, you need advisors. This is not our core business, so we went out and we found some really good ones. Quite known is Oliver Bussmann, who is the president of the Crypto Valley Association in Switzerland, and he was the CIO of UBS worldwide. To run an ICO, you also need technology partners, so that's where we partnered up with Lücke, which is the leading exchange in Switzerland. We then recognized if you build an ecosystem, you actually need a professor that can help you how do you design an ecosystem and how do you run an ecosystem. So that's why we had to get Dr. Fabian Scher as our support as a professor in finance and blockchain. Also, how do you drive token economics? We had to get a specialist in altcoin trading, and last but not least, we need to talk about our project, so that's why we hired Waxman PR. So why should you invest? We're an up and running company, so this is actually a little bit different from all the other ICOs. We're sort of the ICO 2.0, with an existing business that's using ICO to scale. We're moving away from a pure business-to-business company to more of a business-to-consumer company. And that's why we're reaching out to investors all around the world. We want our investors to be our ambassadors, talking about us all around the world, identifying business cases for us to solve. Through the ICO so far, we actually got 2 interesting business cases. One was actually in Vietnam. The 3rd largest family in Vietnam has a hotel chain, and they're seriously concerned about the food safety, and that's why they want to insource this logistics aspect. The second one is the 2nd largest salmon producer in Norway, because we recognized he's losing about 10% of his salmon, not being able to ship it successfully around the world. So these are 2 cases that we got through the ICO so far. So it's on the one side a fundraising campaign, but also an opportunity campaign. We're a Swiss high-tech company, previously only open to biotech and high-net-worth individuals from Switzerland. Now we're looking for a global investor base, and it's a highly profitable logistics ecosystem that we're building. But this is not all what I want to show you today. For the past 3 years, we invested seriously amount of energy in developing our next generation of containers. I'm not talking about a big container. I'm talking about a small container. Can you bring it to me? Okay. So we developed for 3 years a new way to ship pharmaceuticals to your home. So, okay, it's not broken. It's designed that way. So it's actually a system. So this can actually happen in real life. So logistics is full of surprises. We developed a system to ship pharmaceutical products directly to your home instead of getting it from a pharmacy. So this will change significantly the way you can get pharmaceuticals when you need them. It will significantly ease the life of people that have chronic diseases, so that are taking medications every day for the rest of their lives. And it will also secure the safety of these products. I'm going to put it down. So this is actually how it looks like. So imagine that you're in the future, pharmaceuticals are delivered by DHL or FedEx to your home, to your hotel, instead of having to go out to the pharmacy. So far, there is no competitor in this field. We believe this is a $5 billion market opportunity. It's so big we can't miss it. And we would be happy if you join us in making this a reality. Thank you very much for your time.
네, 예상보다 조금 일찍 맞춰주셔서 사실 시간이 약간 남으셨어요. 예. 네, 다음 순서는요. 다음 순서는 DCC라는 이제 그 프로젝트인데요. DCC는 저희 매거진 20페이지에 보시면 설명이 나와 있으니까 예, 조금 이제 일찍 그 아티클을 주신 분들은 매거진에 다 실리거든요. 그래서 매거진에 있으니까 매거진 보시면 조금 더 도움이 될 것 같습니다. 네. 블록체인으로 만드는 개인 간의 신용 거래에 대한 이제 주제로 DCC의 CEO이신 스튜의 주님께서 발표를 해주시겠습니다. 네, 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share our project with Korean people. Great country. Thank you very much. So. We are a blockchain project, and we're from China, and we try to solve one very specific but very big area, which is credit. You already see Ripple network, yeah, it's a very big project already. And we're trying to solve not the foreign exchange, but we try to solve the borrowing and the lending problem. Okay. Oops. So today I'm going to dive two questions here. So first is, so what is distributed banking and distorted credit, or distributed credit? And how will DCC revolutionize the banking industry? So a little bit about myself. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I was a PhD student at London School of Economics, studying in microfinancing and game theory. Before that, Oxford, Yale, so a lot of studies here. And as a reading the books by maybe brainwashed, I tried to be an entrepreneur, so I quit the school. I dropped my PhD study at the third year and came back to my home country, which is China, to be an entrepreneur. And the area I was working on is fintech. Very popular topic today. So at that time, which is 2015, fintech is like between the early stage to the middle stage. There were a lot of like big companies like Alipay. You guys must heard about that. And there were also very small companies at that time. But today they're all growing to very big companies and listed in NYSE and NASDAQ. I can give you some names like 趣店, like QD.com, 容360, 拍拍贷, 乐信, all in Chinese, but very big companies. Profits like 1 billion Chinese yuan annually. So I got lucky because the infrastructure of internet is very strong in China. And we have a lot of people. So the fintech industry grew up very fast. From 2015 to 2017, it grows from almost 0 to 13 trillion Chinese yuan. So big amount. And also it produced a lot of good companies. So I invested a couple of companies, like 2 of them that went to NASDAQ. And my own company is providing the SaaS service for financial institutions and those online micro-lending companies. And my company was acquired by Shanghai Stock A listed company at 2017. So, but that was a little bit about me before I jumped into blockchain. So I had some experiences in the micro-lending, something like small cash loan, car loan, unsecured loan. Because when I was dealing with those financial institutions like big banks, or I call the centralized financial institutions, I found there were a lot of problems. So actually this year, if you guys remember, 2018 is very special. It is the 10th anniversary of the 2008 financial crisis. So now we're standing here. Why don't we just look back? Look back what had happened and think about what are we going to do now. A lot of professionals, scholars, and the top talents in the world, they keep talking about the financial crisis, found reasons like financial attrition, asymmetric information, adverse selection, problems like that. And I am in the industry, and I know what is going on. See, for example, like those listed companies, say from East Asia or in China, they have problems like, for example, super high annual interest rate charging to the customers. It could up to, how much is it? 600% annually. They make super margins. And also the big banks, they have the super high transaction cost, as everyone knows. And I'm going to say something, I'm not going to say a lot of bad things about traditional banks here because I believe there are a lot of people from the traditional banks. But yeah, I would understand their pain because of what? The regulatory, always strict. And that actually gives an opportunity for those fintech companies to grow up. So yeah, I can list a couple of, oops, sorry. So you can see here those very typical problem of those centralized financial institutions like high transaction costs, high interest rates, and especially distorted credit profile. It's very important. Yeah, we can see a lot of things like Equifax 2017, JP Morgan, and also Facebook today. Yeah, everybody was talking about that. So we are trying to find some solutions until I made the blockchain. And that very fundamental of the technology, I think, is the only way out to provide a comprehensive solution for that problem. So that's why we try to start to work on a decentralized ecosystem of financial services. So, and our purpose is try to transform the financial scenarios by empowering credit with the blockchain technology. So, yeah, these are the benefits we can achieve. I'm not going to talk a lot about this page here. So how we do it? You can see a lot of projects in the market, which are big projects. They do the cryptocurrency lending. I think some of them, they're doing good, but I think they are not actually trying to solve the actual problem of credit. It's not just about like transferring the real world lending onto the blockchain. This is not going to work. What you're really going to do is you try to solve that problem systematically by trying to change the whole way of credit transferring mechanism. And that is actually what we do. So you have problems like you guys all have the applied for those cash loans, yeah, maybe car loans, something like that. And you know how much money those traditional financial institutions, all those online fintech companies, or those micro-lending companies spend monthly to collect your personnel financial history data. And how much money they spend to make a comprehensive personnel profile. It's a huge amount. But none of them succeed. Why? Because the mechanism just behind it is conflict of interest. So what we are trying to do is we're trying to build up a DCC, decentralized credit system, which gives you a DCC ID. And the ID is like when you try to borrow money in the network, you first send a request to your credit rating agency. The credit agency will give back your credit report. So with a hash summary. At the same time, the credit agency is joining the DCC network. The DCC network will do a simultaneously verification. So if your credit report is verified, then your credit information will be labeled as authenticated. So that process will actually upgrade it continuously. So in the end, you will have a DCC ID. The DCC ID will include all the financial informations across the languages and across the regions. In that case, we are trying to create a network. In that network, you will own your own financial avatar. So we return the ownership of the data to you. You know, the lending process is very long, so they have multiple institutions who's joining the ecosystem. You will have the, the online traffic directing apps. You will have the lending institutions who provide the capital. You can see a lot of so-called AI-based big data algorithm vendors in the market. Yeah, some of them, they are great startups. And they provide services across the lending business. And we try to get all of these companies into our network to become our strategic partner. So this is how the things work. Yeah, it's a bit complex, and I'm not going to talk a lot about this. So if anyone is interested in the technical stuff, you can come to me later after the meeting, because time is quite limited. So a little bit about the development status about our network. So we actually issued our D-app last month in China. They have 20,000 downloads and 2,000 times lending and borrowing happening. And this month, we will open our platform. And we will also publicate our next DApp, the second DApp next month. So if you guys are familiar with fintech, you must know like we have a lot of very successful online borrowing, like those P2P platforms in China. All of them, they're very big with huge traffic volume. Because as I mentioned, we have very good infrastructure as a survey payment and a lot of people. So we can reach the customer very easily. So in this project, what we try to sell is we have a lot of users and the traffic volume would go increase very fast. So that's a bit different with some other projects. And also we have, as I said, we have a lot of important strategic partners because the lending business is very long. The business line is very long. You need online directing, companies. You need banks. Like you need the trustees, like those licensed financial institutions who have the qualification to do the lending, especially in big countries like here, like in China, like America, because of the regulatory. Yeah, you will have the credit, the restructuring institutions like the guys who's doing the ABS. Yeah. So to reconstruction the whole credit business, we need partners like this. So we have DATA. Is very good projects. Now is listed on Huobi. They're doing the data verification. Elastus. DeepFin is a very excellent project who's doing ABS in China. Juicex is from Wanxiang. And Citric, is a smart contract, startup. And we try to embrace more and more excellent projects to join our ecosystem, So schools, we have a lot of academic research work with schools like PKU, Columbia, Wharton School of Business, and Oxford. So what we do with schools is a little bit different. So we try to investigate more about the impact of blockchain technology onto the credit area. So we work with economists and finance professors, and we try to produce working papers. So we're not only doing the coding stuff, so we want to see, more on the applied layer, because we believe the knowledge have different layers. So we want to produce a product and update the product, to make them more convenient and make people easy to use it. And a little bit in achievement about us, we raised 17.4 million in a week at the end of February. And here are the investors. We don't have a lot of investors, but we only have one single institutional investors, which is JR Capital. JRR is the biggest investor of Binance, which I think a lot of people know. I think is one of the best exchange in the world. Yeah, and also we have experts in the fintech area, like Mr. Kok. Mr. Kok is the founder of Dianrong, which is also be listed in NASDAQ this year. Dianrong is the first P2P company in China. It's like the equivalent of Lending Club. And also the Hussein is a very famous young entrepreneur. He sold his company to Latex. So, and also we have the advisors team, and our advisor team are more academic. So we talk to a lot of professors, like Professor Chen from Yale, and now Hong Kong U, Henry from UCLA. And we also have experts from the credit area in China. So China CX Credit is actually the biggest credit rating companies from the country. So we have Mr. Yao, so that's another Yao Ming. Yeah, he's the founder of the China CX Credit. So we keep seeking advices from or information from the bureau, from the central government, so we know the feedback. Yeah, that's very important. And we have also advisors from Wall Street. We have Matthew from KKR, which is the biggest, I believe, the best, PE firm in the world. That means the older money, they're already paying attention, to this new technology, which I think is very important. We have KOLs in China because the population is so big, and we need the KOL who's expertising in finance, so we can get more feedbacks from the users. We have Professor Gu from Columbia, computer science, top of the world. His research was acquired by Pentagon. If you guys Google that, there's a lot of information about him. So what we try to do is a distributed banking system. We hope by returning the ownership of individuals' data, especially the financial data, the credit data, we can build up an ecosystem in which the data flows freely at a quicker pace with higher data integrity and also lower cost. Oops, sorry. So this is about, actually, we have some more slides, but I don't know why it's not showed here. We just got interviewed by NASDAQ, and we're actually the first blockchain project about finance got interviewed by NASDAQ. And now we're working on with a lot of like a big online traffic providers. So the very next goal is try to boost our what we call the trading volume. And also, actually, I found that there were a lot of great startups about the application of blockchain technologies to finance here, like Bamboo. I talked to George. It was a great startup, and we were very welcome for him to join our ecosystem. So I would glad to talk to people who's interested in the revolutionary of finance. So that's about the DCC. If you guys have any questions, please find me after the talk. Thank you. Thank you.
네. 수고해주신 DCC CEO님께 감사드리고요. 뭐 아시겠지만 블록체인이 금융에 가게 되면 개인이 역시 자기 정보를 정보의 오픈이라든지 누구한테 한다든지 이런 걸 이제 정할 수 있다. 이런 면에서 이제 블록체인이 가장 먼저 쓸 수 있는 그런 분야 중에 하나죠. 그래서 팀이 매우 좋습니다. DCC 팀들이 굉장히 엘리트고요. 와주셔서 감사합니다. 자, 다음 이제 저희 프로젝트는 프라임체인입니다. 프라임체인은 블록체인으로 개인정보 노출의 위험과 혼란을 해결한다. 이런 주제로 발표를 하겠습니다. 프라임체인의 CEO이신 마크 다이아나께서 수고해 주시겠습니다.
Hello, thank you for having me here today. I'm Mark Diana, CEO of LeadPoint Inc. and PrimeChain, a product inside of LeadPoint Inc. So the journey for us started back in 2004. when we went up to Silicon Valley and raised a bunch of capital from the venture capitalists up there into a company called LeadPoint Inc. What LeadPoint did since then is we launched our product. It's a lead exchange. On one end of our model, we have consumers on the internet who are interested in a product or service. On the other end, we have companies looking to provide that product or service to consumers. What we did in the middle is we built an exchange where we connected those consumers to those service providers, and we collected a commission per transaction flowing through that exchange. It worked out well for us. We've grown a business over the past 10 years to generate $55 million of revenue. It's also profitable. We're approaching $10 million a year in profits. So the business is performing very well for us. It's a B2B model that we launched. So a couple of years ago, we decided we wanted to have a consumer face to our product. And so we launched Money Tips. Money Tips enables consumers to manage their personal financial life online, their credit, their debt, their identity. That entire portfolio can be managed by consumers online. The reason we did that is because we wanted to have a sustaining relationship with the consumer. In our B2B model, I get one touch of the consumer, and then they're gone because they don't know about me. So we launched Money Tips to have a membership model, so I can get up to 5 touches per consumer. We also acquired a credit cards business in 2017. That business enabled us to expand our footprint beyond. We're in mortgage, we're in auto loans, we're in personal loans. This pushed us into credit cards. So today I have a business where I'm doing 7 million annual consumer inquiries to the lending community, resulting in 600,000 lending products being issued to consumers. I've got offices in California, Michigan, Cape Town, South Africa, 175 employees, profitable business, doing $55 million of revenue last year is what we clocked. But we noticed a couple of things in our model. We always like to reflect on our business and reflect on the customers using our products. And I noticed that there were some challenges that the consumers are having as they flow through our system. The first challenge they're having is that getting loans is a little bit cumbersome. It's difficult. Second, it's very local. You can't access wide markets and arrays of capital. You're pinned down in very local markets. That's inefficient for consumers. I also went and looked at the macro market and said, what's happening out there at a macro level? And a handful of issues have plagued some pretty big companies in the US. Credit cards are getting stolen from Target, exposing consumers. Yahoo got hacked, billions of profiles taken. In the US, a big hack happened to Equifax. 155 million consumer profiles were taken. Their financial lives were taken out there. That left a bunch of people pretty frustrated. It cost $16 billion. $16 billion is the cost of that problem. I was one of those people. Very frustrating, very difficult to fix. Additionally, the web's gone from 1.0 to 2.0 to 3.0. Here comes blockchain, it's 4.0. Fintech has been largely left behind in that evolution. It has not grown as quickly as other sectors have. It's ripe for innovation. So we decided to take our existing business and attack those opportunities. Bring it to the blockchain and let's go and innovate. We call that Prime Chain, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. It's a product inside of an existing business. So let me walk you through what Prime Chain actually is. So the first thing we do with Prime Chain is we're empowering consumers to control their financial profile. Anytime you want to do anything out there in the world to get a loan from a company, rent an apartment in the US, companies want to know if you can afford it and if you're going to pay back. They look at your financial profile. Other companies are controlling that. You are not as a consumer. So we want to take that and put it in your hands as a consumer. The second thing we want to do is make it be anonymous. We don't want everyone to know who you are, because actually they don't really care who you are. All they care is that if they sign a contract with you, you're going to service it and you're going to pay them back. So let's decouple your personal identity from the financial and lending process. There's 4 pieces that go into lending. There's credit, there's assets, there's cash flow, and there's integrity. I'm going to walk you through each of those components. On a credit basis, there's 4 bureaus in the US. We're currently in the US. There's 4 bureaus that are in the US that provide credit data. We're integrated with all these companies. I actually house all of the consumer financial data on my servers and run algorithms against it today to make lending decisions on behalf of banks. So we've got this under our roof. Second is cash flow is the second cornerstone of lending. Any lender wants to analyze your cash flow. Do you have enough on a monthly basis that you're going to be able to pay them back from the income you're generating from your employment and the income you generate from your investments, less the debt that you're servicing to your credit cards and other loans you may have. The third thing they're going to look at are your assets. As a last line of defense, what assets do you have that can service the loan? From cash to investments to homes to cars to tokens. They're assessing your assets. Finally, lenders are beginning to look at your integrity. What is your integrity as a consumer? Are you going to pay a loan back because it's the right thing to do? Are you going to fight tooth and nail to do that? That's a signal that's being measured out there. So we're going to take those four cornerstones, put them in a profile, enable you to own and control that profile. The next thing we're going to do with that profile is we're going to associate a score against it. Lenders make loans based on risk. So let's provide a risk score. So we'll run a series of machine learning-based algorithms that come up with a risk profile. Grade A, B, C, and D. Base paper out there is what people are lending against. Worth $10,000 of credit eligible, 20, 30, 100. We'll provide that assessment. Then the final thing we'll do once we have that credit profile and we have a risk score against it is we'll handle the loan servicing and digital contracting on the blockchain. So through a smart contracting process, we will enable consumers to engage lenders to get quotes for product, enable consumers to apply for product, enable consumers to contract through smart contracts to get loans, enable funds to transfer from lenders to consumers. The lenders can be the traditional and institutional lenders today, the big banks. The lenders can be individuals, each and every one of us in this room. Instead of investing in CDOs that fly back around to mortgage-backed securities in the US, why not invest directly into a handful of households? There's 5 companies taking margin on your dollars when you flow it that way. Investing it direct, you're going to have a much higher return. So we're trying to create efficiency in lending, handle the digital contracting, and connect consumers to investors on a global basis, all inside of a platform. There's a number of revenue opportunities that this will create. It's going to be an open architected platform. We're a big believer in sharing. So let's let everyone develop against us. Develop your own algorithms, develop better ones than I have. Let's have at it. Everyone can participate in the Prime Chain ecosystem. We'll take a commission per transaction for having the loans flow across the platform. That's a business model that works because I'm already doing it today. I'm doing 20,000 lending inquiries per day right now, flowing across my platform, taking a commission per transaction-based model. There's 3 main pieces we need to build here to be successful. First, I got to put it on the blockchain. Second, I got to separate your personal identity from your financial lending profile. Third, I have to develop that risk-adjusted score. We've got the tech capability and chops to do that. We've built more complicated things in the past that I'll talk about in a minute here. The market we're going after is not a small one. In the US alone, it's a $30 trillion market is what lending is. On a global basis, you're looking at a $52 trillion market. These are growing at 5%. These are not small markets that we're chasing. Banking and lending is a big business out there. We're all aware of that. So now let's talk about how we're going to do it and why we're going to be successful. It's not a startup. It's inside of an existing business. It's the most important thing. I've got revenue. I've got a sales force. I've got 3 offices. I have 175 employees. It's one thing to hire them. It's another thing to get them to all work together peacefully, harmoniously, and to deliver quarter-over-quarter results. I've been doing it for 10 years. I've got tech capabilities. I've got 5th-generation algorithms. Most importantly, I have a database of 20 million consumers who've gotten loans through my platform. I'm doing $7 million a year, 600,000 new loans per year. I operate a call center touching thousands of consumers on a daily basis, helping them with the lending process. These are all assets inside of the existing business that are leveraged to launch Prime Chain. I've got customers all the big banks. I'm in R&D with all these big banks. They've been my customers for 10 years. They want to know how they're going to evolve on the blockchain. I'm in the discussions with them to do that. I've also got syndication. That's where all the consumers come from. Big brands are pumping data into me, is the way the business works today. We haven't done this before. My partner and I, we started a handful of businesses. We started a company called lowermybills.com. That was in the first dot-com bubble. We ended up selling that to Experian. We invented something called affiliate marketing through a technology platform that was processing 20,000 transactions per second at the time of sale to ValueClick. We also started savings.com, which we sold to Cox. So we've started a handful of businesses and we've grown them up. So what do we need to do? We need to methodically bring PrimeChain to market and get it in the hands of consumers. And the way you do that is by introducing PrimeChain to consumers inside of our existing business. We baby step our way into it. We validate it. I've already been doing this. I've already validated that I can get banks to give quotes to consumers on an anonymous basis. So we're already doing that in production today. Why would they be interested in PrimeChain? One, because they're getting a much richer data set of a consumer. That's valuable and important to them. Second is that the default rates come down, the better the quality of the product is that you're lending against, and also the cost for them to service loans is going down. There's a lot of paperwork and data storage involved on the lender side and risk in actually processing and servicing loans that we remove through this product. So now let's talk about revenue and what this is going to mean to us. So I've got an existing business. I mentioned LeadPoint is the first product that we launched. That's the B2B product. I'm doing one transaction per consumer inside of LeadPoint. They don't know about me. It's a B2B model. That's why I launched Money Tips. I mentioned I grew that up to 5 transactions per consumer. PrimeChain, if I'm your vault for your financial life that you can choose to share when you want, with who you want, at your discretion, if I'm successful at that, I'm going to get 20 transactions. You're going to buy a couple homes, a handful of cars, a bucket of credit cards through your life. Concurrently, in my original model, LeadPoint, I have a data set of about 18 data points that the lenders are purchasing from me. They know your name. They know you're saying, hey, I'm interested in buying a home. I think it's going to cost $500,000. That's what they know. It's all self-selected data. I'm going to extract 50 basis points of loan value for that data set I'm trading. When I rolled out my Money Tips model, and I've got your credit file of the consumer, so I have a richer data set that's partially verified, I doubled my revenue. I'm able to extract 100 basis points of loan value. It's the same cost of customer acquisition, but I'm doubling my revenue. By rolling out PrimeChain, we'll have 750 fully verified data points. We believe we'll be able to extract 200 basis points. That's 4 times the revenue that I'm doing today. When you multiply that out against my current revenue stream from last year, 55 million times 20 times 4 is 40 billion of revenue. 4 billion. It's a big number. It's a big number to execute this vision inside of the existing business. That's just in the US, which is where we're predominantly today. This is a global opportunity. The vision is to help the emerging global middle class, 2 billion people who need credit, who need a car, who need a house, who want to pay for college, and they don't have the means to do it. They don't have the avenues to get it. We want to be the gateway to provide that to consumers. That itself is a $10 billion opportunity to go and tackle that. So with PrimeChain, the very unique thing about it is it's being launched inside of LeadPoint. It's an existing business. We're taking our cherished asset that we've worked so hard to create. We're going to launch this product inside of it. We're going to backstop our vision of PrimeChain by giving equity in LeadPoint inside of the tokens. The tokens will also be used as a lending currency that flows across the exchange and into digital contracting. So there's a ton of security in the tokens that we're offering because of the value of the business that we have on the table today and the upside in PrimeChain. So we're at market right now in our pre-sale. We're pushing 70% of the tokens out there. We're pushing equity and lead point through it. We're starting our tour, and I'm available here the rest of the show to answer any questions that anyone may have about Prime Chain. Thank you all for your time today.
예, 이제 두 개의 그 금융에 대한 프로젝트가 나왔죠. 앞쪽에 프라임체인 앞에 있었던 DCC, 프라임체인 이렇게 비교를 하면서 들으시면 굉장히 재밌을 것 같습니다. 왜냐하면 2부에서도 또 이제 그 게임에 대한 그 프로젝트가 두 개가 준비가 되어 있거든요. 두 가지를 같이 들으시면서 아 이런 점이 참 좋네, 어떤 프로젝트가 매력 있다 이렇게 좀 보시면 되게 재밌을 것 같고요. 자, 1부 마지막입니다. 예, 1부 마지막 뒤에 잠시 휴식 시간을 가질 건데요. 1부 마지막 프로젝트인 반부에 대해서 소개를 해드릴 건데요. 오늘의 투자가 미래를 바꾼다. 이게 이제 어떤 내용인지 반부를 들으시면서 이 제목에 대해서 생각을 해보시면 될 것 같습니다. 필 조지 CEO께서 설명해 주시겠습니다. 예, 반부를 앞으로 모시겠습니다.
Hi everyone, how are we going? This is good. This is nice. Thank you. Before we get started, I just want to say what an awesome event Cinco's put on. I'd like to thank Cinco for having us, and it's such an amazing turnout. It's so exciting to see so many Koreans excited about cryptocurrency and blockchain. So it's awesome to have you here. Thank you for coming. So I'm Phil George, and I'm here to talk today about our project Bamboo. We're excited about blockchain too. We're excited about cryptocurrency, but we think that there's a massive problem. So we see all these amazing projects like the ones that you've heard about today, and we truly believe that they're going to change the world and how it works and how it operates. But there's a fundamental problem, and that problem is, does anyone actually know how to get involved in cryptocurrency? So I like to ask when I'm talking at these events, can people just raise their hand who's actually bought cryptocurrency on an exchange before? Just raise your hand. So that's actually an amazing number of people. Normally it's like 20%, but that's about half of the room. And how many of the people who have bought cryptocurrency thought, that's a really, really fun and enjoyable process. I hope I get to do that again sometime soon. Yep, that's about the same. No hands went up. Oh, okay. It was a fun process. Good. There's a bit of delay with the translation, so that's okay. But most of the time what we see around the world is that people want to get involved in cryptocurrency, but they don't really know how, and if they do try to figure it out, they find that they don't really understand what they're doing, and they're a little bit scared. Sometimes they think that the money that they're going to put in, they might lose, and that's not a very fun process. And even if they do manage to buy cryptocurrency, they then have to figure out where to store it, where to put it. And then they have to remember a passphrase that doesn't really mean anything to them. And then a few years later, they find out that, you know, maybe they bought Bitcoin a few years ago and maybe today it's worth a lot of money, but they can't remember where they put it. And that's not very fun. So the team at Bamboo thought, that's something that we need to solve. This is legal stuff. So I guess it's important that even though everyone in this room is excited about what's happening with blockchain and cryptocurrencies, it's important to remember that we're really just at the beginning. So only 0.29% of the world's entire money supply is actually within the cryptocurrency ecosystem at the moment. It really hasn't even begun. It's about half the value of Apple, which is just one company out of many thousands, millions. So we think that even though everyone here is excited, we haven't even begun yet. This is really the inflection point, the point at which all this really starts to take off. And we think that the problem is that only 0.5% of the world has ever interacted with cryptocurrency or blockchain technologies. 0.5%. So what about the other 99.5%? Well, it turns out that it's complex. It turns out that most people still don't understand what cryptocurrency and blockchain is, which is a problem because it's going to impact their lives. They are going to change the way that they live based on the technologies that we're talking about. And it doesn't really seem right that they don't have access to get involved in this cryptocurrency asset class because they don't yet understand it. So we thought we wanted to solve it. We want to solve it with simplicity, but that's hard. So we put together a team that we think can do it. So the team consists of myself. I'm the one on the top right-hand side. I'm ex-Uber, and I'm on the board of 2 Australian stock exchange listed companies, Department 13 and Whitehawk. Our co-founders are Peter, who's ex-Chevron and specializes in risk management. Simone, who's our people person, because we think that people are pretty important when it comes to running a company of people. And Nesh, who's the other co-founder, who's had a lot of experience growing tech products. We've got Will, who has had the last top 5 apps in the last 7 years on the App Store, which is pretty impressive. And then a bunch of blockchain understanding from Linus, who was involved in Filecoin, which was a $282 million token sale. Tom, Alex, who's engaging with Australian regulators on forming token law at the moment. We've got some advisors like Harrison, who's leading Uber Eats in Mexico at the moment, so he understands commercial growth. And we figured finance and legal is pretty important, so we've got one of the ex-directors of HSBC to help us out there. So what are we doing? If the problem is a lack of knowledge, if the problem is having to verify yourself, I'm not sure if you have to do it on Korean exchanges, but in Australia you have to take photos of yourself with a passport. Sometimes you have to sort of hold them next to your face, and you normally don't feel very attractive when you do that. It's not a fun process. And then if you do get verified, you have to transfer money into the exchange. And then once you have it, like I said, you've got to figure out where to store it. We want the solution to be as easy as downloading an app, putting in your details, and buying cryptocurrency. So this is how it works. We've built an app which allows you to plug your bank account into our system, and every time you make a purchase, we take the spare change, the 15 cents, the 36 cents, the leftover amounts, and we automatically purchase cryptocurrency assets on your behalf. Here's a demo of it working. Nope. Nope. I'm fighting with this thing, it's not working. No. Looks like the demo is not going to work, which is slightly less impressive than when it does work, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Okay. The point is that you can download an application, and within 45 seconds you can be up and running and purchasing a collection of cryptocurrency assets without going through all of the process that we've been talking about is a problem. So we talk about viability. What makes us think that this will work? What makes us think that this is an effective solution? Well, we've seen other companies do this before for things like the stock market. So in the United States, Acorns really started this method of investment by starting in 2012, and they've already established a $1.2 billion valuation by basically taking people's spare change and automatically investing it into the stock market. We've also seen startups like Coinbase, who have established a $1.6 billion valuation. I think that's out of date. And all they are is a cryptocurrency mobile exchange. Bamboo is a combination of an online cryptocurrency exchange and an automated investment platform in one. So we sort of sit in between Coinbase and Acorns in terms of our potential and our product market fit. Here's a summary of the different platforms that I'll go back one because I've got extra time because the video didn't work. Robinhood is the other one. It's an online trading platform that recently added cryptocurrency, and it makes it easy to buy single cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And they recently established a $5 billion valuation just after they added cryptocurrency, which was interesting. So the landscape is this. Bamboo, Stash, and Acorns help people easily invest in a collection of things. Stash and Acorns is the share market. Bamboo automatically purchases a collection of cryptocurrencies. Robinhood allows you to buy individual things, individual Bitcoin, Ethereum, and shares. Coinbase is a mobile exchange platform for cryptocurrency only. Demand generation. So what we saw was in the hype of December, when everyone was wanting to get involved in cryptocurrency, Coinbase reported that they had 100,000 users register in one day. So there's obviously a demand for people to get involved. And we saw similar numbers in Korea, on Korean exchanges, on Binance. We all saw sometimes 1 million users signing up within a 1 week period. But what was interesting is that so many of these users who signed up didn't know what to do once they were signed up. They were met with a screen that said, do you want to buy BTC, ETH, LTC? These are letters that don't mean anything to most people. They've heard about cryptocurrency, but they don't really understand it. And they didn't know what to do. So they got 100,000 signups, but not many of those users ended up actually buying cryptocurrency. And we think that's a problem. So if we can make it simple, and there's 100,000 users signing up and they still don't understand, there's clearly a market here that needs to be met. Our token, what does it do on our platform? It is a payment token, which is similar to Binance. So every single time a user gets charged a fee on our platform, that fee is levied in the form of our BAM token. So each month, if a user has $1,000 stored on their platform, we charge a 0.5% fee for having automatically taken people's transactions, rounding up their spare change, and dollar cost averaging, which is typically a technique that's reserved for high net worth investors, that money into a collection of cryptocurrency assets. But that's the retail product. We also have a very interesting technology on the back end, which we call proof of solvency. And we like talking about proof of solvency because we think about what went wrong, and you've heard on the last group of guys that have been speaking about the 2008 financial crisis and all of the issues with leveraged financial systems and fractional lending. And the biggest problem with our current institutions is there's no transparency. There's no visibility of these companies actually having the money that they claim to hold. So proof of solvency is what we're introducing to demonstrate that the amount of assets that we claim to hold, we actually hold at all times, and it's provable. We can prove it, not every quarter or when a financial regulator knocks on our door and says, prove it, but constantly and transparently using the blockchain technologies that we all in this room believe in. And we think that that's very exciting. But we know it won't be easy. We understand that there's lots of challenges involved. So we've structured ourselves as an international company from day one because we want our product to be international. So we've worked with KPMG in Switzerland, which is where our company is based. We're a Swiss company. We've retained counsel in the United States with Reed Smith. In Australia, we've used the Fold Legal. And we've already got a powerful group of initial supporters from Australia, including Bitcoin advisors and ASX-listed Digital X, who have been involved in a number of highly successful cryptocurrency projects. We have a vision of building a collection of platforms and products that will be the leading way that people interact with the blockchain in the future. And we think that a product that allows users to easily and quickly get involved in the blockchain ecosystem and invest as little as $1 into a collection of cryptocurrency assets is the first step in that vision. If anyone would like to come and speak to us about our vision more, we welcome you to come along. And it's been a long session. I think people have been sitting down for about 2 hours. So the good news is it's a coffee break now, and you get to have some food. Thank you.
네, 수고해주신 벤부 CEO께 감사드리고요. 저희가 그 커피 브레이크 시간이 원래 45분부터인데 조금 빨리 진행을 해주셔서 발표를 좀 빨리들 해주셔서 좀 시간이 남았습니다. 그래서 시작을 4시에 시작하겠습니다. 조금 일찍, 그러니까 30분 쉬실 수 있거든요. 휴식 시간 20에서 30분 늘어났고 3시, 저희가 정확하게 4시에 시작하겠습니다. 4시 시작 전 5분 전 3시 55분에 다시 안내를 해드릴 테니까 4시까지는 밖에서 커피 드시고 좀 쉬시다가 다시 뵙도록 하겠습니다. 그 블록체인 뉴스 지금 실시간으로 스트리밍 되고 있는 데다가 좋아요라든지 이런 거 누르시면 기프티콘 받으실 수 있거든요. 그래서 중간중간에 잊지 말고 참여해 주시면 너무 감사하겠습니다. 그리고 지금 바깥 제가 나와 있네요. 그 이름표 하단에서 방법 나와 있으니까 참여하시고요. 밖에 가시면 부스들이 준비되어 있습니다. 지금 했던 프로젝트들, 그다음에 2부에 발표할 프로젝트들을 직접 만나실 수가 있습니다. 만나셔서 궁금하신 것들을 물어보시고요. 그 프로젝트에 대해서 조금 더 이해를 잘 하셨으면 좋겠고요. 저희가 정확하게 4시에 다시 2부에서 찾아뵙도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.